All right. Got a potpourri of things to discuss. I was watching the Stephen Foster doc on Netflix. David Foster. Sorry. David Foster.
Music producer.
He's a great piano player, songwriter. I mean, he does it all. Worked with everyone. Whitney Houston and Celine Dion and Chicago, Brian.
That's right.
And the Peter Cetera thing.
I was gonna say.
Part of
their most successful yet perhaps artistically unsatisfying era.
Yeah, and the other guys from Chicago weren't too happy because Chicago's got, three guys who sing and play play the bass guitar and the guitar and stuff, and then they have 7 guys who play the horns. And he told all the guys who played the horns, take a break.
Take a break. Me and Peter Cetera are going to knock this album out.
This movie called Karate Kid 3, and so they weren't happy about having to put the horns down and go the different direction. But, of course, they ended up being wildly successful with that. Anyway, he's produced everyone. He's done everything. He's Canadian, started a very young age. Also... Did this unbreak my heart?
No, but I'm almost positive this is David Foster.
Yeah, he did I think he did
Tony
unbreak
Braxton?
my heart. Yeah, he did it all. He did them all. Oh, I didn't see any Boz Gags on there.
Can we verify?
Yeah, verify. I love this song.
I feel like an idiot if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure David Foster did. He was married to Yolanda from fucking Real Housewives, right?
They didn't delve into that one either.
I thought he was married to one of the American Idol girls.
Okay.
Catherine McPhee.
Yeah, he is now.
Yeah.
Well, he's been married a lot.
Oh, has he?
And there's a lot of kids, which is something else I want to get into. Yeah, I don't remember the Boz Gags chapter in the doc, but it could have been. He's long and storied. So there's a couple things, one involving Ben Vereen that I wanted to get into, but also it just kind of struck me, he has a bunch of kids, seems like a nice guy, but he's a musical savant who was bitten by the bug at, age 12 or 13, and that's what he does. You know what I mean? Like, he gets married, he has kids, and then he spends all night in the studio.
Got it.
Like, and then everyone's kind of beef is like, how come he didn't carve out time away from the studio for his kids and for his marriage and for all that? And I got a couple thoughts. One is I don't want him doing that. I wouldn't want Edison, leaving the lab and hanging around with his 3-year-old.
Well, we
You know what
wouldn't,
I mean?
but Edison's wife might.
Right, but we get light bulbs,
Right.
and they get jack squat.
We're
and
better
that's
off
the way
for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
I am happy
Yeah.
that these guys are so married to their muse or their profession or their whatever.
This just in. Co-written by David Foster.
Wow, nice. I
Tool
love
tune.
this. It may be too good for a Tool tune.
What you've done to me.
Wow, they didn't cover this. Well, he's done so much with so many. They sped right to Whitney Houston. Yeah, so prolific, amazing.
First dance song, Gina, you missed out.
This is some couple skate action.
So they got to this part of the story where he was in the studio, maybe with Celine Dion or somebody else, and Michael Bublé ended up with later, everyone. But he ended up staying late in the studio, as he always did. He lives in Malibu, driving home, 2:30 in the morning, driving up a dark road.
Uh-oh.
At some point, sees a figure jump out in front of him, like kind of wave his hands. He doesn't have time to fully apply the brake and just runs the person over who sort of darted out or was standing in the middle of the street waving their hands. And I was like, oh, yeah. That person was Ben Vereen, star of Broadway and everything else. Ben Vereen was all over the place for a while. Also, the Jesus Christ superstar. Hey, Ben Vereen did everything. Big Broadway guy.
His kid was a short-lived running back for the Patriots.
Oh, really?
Shane Vereen.
Oh, really?
Again, verified, but I'm pretty sure that was Ben Vereen's kid.
Yeah, this was recent. Like, we covered this.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this goes back.
Oh, we've talked about it. Because I was going to say, this sounds very familiar.
We've talked about it. Yeah. And Antonio Fargas.
Yeah, Justin Fargas, great USC running back.
That's right.
Played for the Raiders.
About to say
Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, shit.
So a lot of these guys' kids went on to greatness.
He had an NFL career.
So Ben Vereen, 1992. So he jumps out, and it's Ben Vereen, and he runs him over. And then, he's alone, 2:30 in the morning, dark road, hills of Malibu. It's got this guy just bleeding out of every orifice, laying on the ground. He calls 911, blah, blah, blah. Now, Foster's very ensconced in the music world. At some point, the ambulance, the helicopter shows up, and they're going to airlift him out. And then one of the cops tells him that was Ben Vereen.
Oh, boy.
So he ran over a contemporary, essentially, like somebody in his business. Yeah. Then I was always like Ben Vereen is first cousin once removed of Shane Vereen. So says the internet. Also godfather to Usher.
Oh, wow.
So he's out now. I heard the story when it happened, and I always thought Ben Vereen was like jogging on PCH at 2:30 in the morning or something, but I couldn't figure out what the hell happened. They had all spleen broken, everything was broken. But when they went in, and I think Chris has the rest of the story, and they gave a full scan of Ben Vereen, they found something that was wrong with him before the accident. Oh. Which led him
like a tumor in his liver or something?
Nah, more in his head. But it's what they say led to him in the middle of the road at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah.
They found a 6-hour-old subdural hematoma, and they said he would have been dead by 7 a.m. had he
not been hit by a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he credits David Foster.
Wow.
For saving his life. Although, next time send me a text.
Yeah, look what you've done to me.
Yeah. You don't have to run me over. You got my you got my number.
Ways, yeah.
Yeah. So there was that, and I don't honestly. Sometimes you hear these stories, they go, if the bullet was 1 centimeter to the right, he'd be dead right now. Sure. I don't know that he would be dead by 7 a.m., but it suggests what was going on in his head.
Serious enough.
Probably because I don't think he was like jogging or anything or intoxicated.
No.
He had yes.
So what happened was earlier that night, Ben crashed his Corvette into a tree, and then he banged his head on the roof, but they investigated if he was drunk. He wasn't. They let him go. And then he was just walking down PCH, and then he suffered a stroke while walking and wandered into the middle of the street.
The cops let him go?
Black.
So he whacked his head after the crash.
Yeah, and then suffered a stroke hours later.
Oh, my.
Jesus.
I'd be the worst cop ever who came on the Corvette crash site because I'd be like, you been drinking? No? And you still hit a fucking tree?
That's actually worse, sir.
I'd have a little more. Hold on, I got a beer in my trunk. Let me get to the cruiser.
You want to blame this on the beer?
Have some self-respect.
Otherwise, you just fucking can't drive.
Yeah, let me plant this beer on you.
I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah, for most people, it's unsafe for them to drive drunk, but you, evidently, it's always unsafe for you to get behind the wheel of a vehicle. So I guess he bonked his head, caused internal bleeding, wandered out in the street, and that's when David Foster ran him over. So
it's chosen night.
Yeah. It's got to be, best case scenario if you're sort of haunted by running over Ben Vereen to then find out later that he had an accident. You saved his life. So, and Ben Vereen's still with us, I guess.
I think so.
Playing the NFL.
Best I
Tap
can
dancing.
tell. All right. So there's that. Yes.
We watched something in its entirety last night because I, even after it came up on Rotten Tomatoes, was not convinced that Mommie Dearest was just a campy, trashy piece of shit movie.
It's not good.
2 hours. 2 hours and 4 minutes. Watch the whole thing. It is such a fucking dumpster fire, and it is back to being one of my favorite movies.
The original from the day?
From 1981.
Joan Crawford, yeah.
Yeah, Faye Dunaway plays her, yeah. Mm-hmm. It is so bad, and it is so good at the same time. I can't explain it.
It was also...
Don't fuck with me, fellas!
We didn't need much to be... we didn't need much to be scared back then because the commercials, like, I don't want the wire hangers hanging in the closet. I was like, that doesn't sound that threatening. I'm not a wire hanger dude either. I like the wood ones.
Yeah, the nice satin ones.
Yeah.
Or the grip, maybe, keep your shit from falling off.
Yeah, well.
But why was that a horror? I mean, I think that the big conceit and scariest part of the movie was her yelling about hangers that would have come from the dry cleaner.
Right. And they were actually nice hangers she was hitting the kid with afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think it was that she would fly off the handle for something so trivial.
well, that was the thing. From what I gathered from 2 hours I won't get back last night, the whole movie opens with her like scrubbing her face with scalding hot water and then dumping her whole head into a bucket of ice and like her crazy OCD and histrionics. Now, I guess I was kind of naive. Andy was like, was this real? I was like, well, they wouldn't have been able to make it if it wasn't real. But there's so many people who said, I never saw anything like this. But crazy people can be really good at hiding it and just torturing the adopted kids. Yeah. She strapped the son into bed every night.
Allegedly.
Like strapped him in, according to the movie. Like he was like the precious angel, didn't want anything to happen to him, and would just beat the shit out of Christina multiple times a day.
So that's a very hands-on parent.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of a hands-off parent. It was me this morning. Well, maybe it's a good parent, hands-off parent argument simultaneously. Got up this morning, opened the fridge, saw a bag that said Sonny's lunch on it. With a little smiley face.
Oh.
Olga did that.
That's great.
I thought, my mom would never do that. I wouldn't get the lunch, but the smiley face would be like, you know how much ink costs? Come on.
Pen's going to run out like
over here. Every time you draw a smiley face, that's one more letter you can't draw. Come on. So I saw it, and then Natalia, of course, we got to go. We got to go to school. I drive her to school. Sonny walks to school. Phil was out, who sleeps with Sonny, so that meant Sonny was up, fed Phil. Phil's running around. So I dutifully grabbed Sonny's lunch, and then I dropped Natalia off, and then I said, take the lunch, Natalia, put it on the rack. They got a whole rack out front. We've talked about people forget their backpacks or the lunch. You set it on the rack. Like I said, if that rack existed in my junior high, Ray would have stolen the rack, first off. But we would have eaten everyone's lunch. We would have gone over there and picked that thing clean. But fine, puts it on the thing. Then I go home, and I'm like, all right, I have to text Sonny that he forgot his lunch and his lunch. So I send Sonny a text, your lunch is on the rack. And then I get this text back that says, I'm in my room, thanks.
What?
Yeah. He missed first period. What? I took his lunch to school, but he didn't take him to school.
He didn't make it.
No.
I have many questions.
A little bit of an out-of-it parent. I didn't check on him. I didn't strap him down before and unlash him before I went to school.
Yeah.
Also, I thought, it's a good sign. I'm texting inside my house. Yeah. That means I got some square footage.
It means you made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why was he at home?
You noticed, and you noticed that the lunch was there. Didn't notice that the boy was there.
Well,
the boy wasn't in the fridge, Brian.
I had a thought, which is, if it's funny because it's true, patterns. First pattern, Phil was out. Mm-hmm. That always means Sonny got up and fed him, and then went to school or something. So Phil out. That to me meant Sonny's up. Lunch in fridge, that struck me as, Sonny never forgets his lunch because Sonny's very dutiful and Natalia's a little catch as catch can, So I was like, well, I guess he forgot his lunch this time.
You described the kid who skipped first period as dutiful.
Dutiful when it comes to food.
Sure.
Not when it comes to learning. So I didn't pick up the rhythm of that. Then I drove it in. Now I don't care. It's waiting for him there. He can eat it, after he leaves for first period. But
did he leave for first period?
Yeah. I don't know. There's so many different things going on in school now. They have all these different acronyms for all these different periods and classes they have, and they're always all over the place. When I grew up, it was first period, homeroom,
right,
and then whatever many periods. And then the only thing that would change is when you're a senior, maybe you only had 4 periods instead of 6 or
but you
some
show
version
up
of that.
And you stay there until the bell rings and then you go home.
Yeah, they have lots of different variations of possibilities, all meant to confuse.
Real quick, you said he had a smiley face on his lunch bag. That's very sweet. You know what my parents always did? My dad always did. Mustard smiley face on the bologna when I'd open my sandwich.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you open the sandwich?
Yeah,
because I knew there'd be a design inside.
Sure, of course.
There'd always be some sort of design inside. So you'd get about 5 bites with no mustard, but it was fun because there was a picture inside.
I would probably have this uncomfortable conversation with your dad, which is, while I really appreciate the thought behind this, I like distribution of mustard more than I like happy faces made of mustard.
You clearly weren't an 8-year-old girl.
Or give the happy face eyebrows, a little chin hair.
A little mustache.
Yeah.
Scar.
Yeah.
Mutton
chops.
Yeah, we got a mean grandma story up here, so I'm looking forward to that. But
nice.
The worst lunch period of my life was when I lived across the street from Colfax Elementary. I was on the free lunch ticket program policy, and then it was whatever slop the school was serving up, corn dogs, fish sticks.
Yeah.
Fish sticks were big.
Canned beans.
Pizza that was always the wrong shape.
Yep.
I couldn't get it into a pizza shape.
Oily rectangle.
Oily rectangle with weird kind of crumbly gray meat on it. Hamburgers that felt like the patty was boiled. It was like a gray meat that was in there. Hot dog. Everything was a shit show, but it was free and it was lunch. And then my parents got divorced or separated. And then I started junior high at Walter Reed Elementary. And I don't think that, Walter Reed Junior High. I don't think they had a lunch ticket program over there. And if there was, I wasn't involved with it. So I was on my own with lunch. Now, that meant when I stayed at my dad, that left my dad and my mom to either make a lunch or give me $1. So...
Pick your poison.
The dollar was off the table, and now there was make lunch. Now, my mom was a health food nut who was locked in a room yelling freak out. And my dad is the most inept human being on the planet. And, a good, yardstick to measure 2 things. How generally competent you are, and or how much you give a shit is your your kid's lunch.
All right.
Because
this is where I excel.
There's a lot of fucking range there.
Yeah.
And if you want to go you buy the chub pack. The easy one is always the worst lunch. So you buy the chub pack of the black raisins in the box, the mini box. Then you buy a chub pack of green apples or an orange. And then the sandwich is just 2 pieces of bread and a piece of bologna, in between. And that's
prison lunch.
It's the worst, but it's the easiest.
Right.
Now, my dad couldn't cook, couldn't make a sandwich, and didn't care.
The holy trifecta.
So it was always a total shit show for me. And that was a horrible period because I couldn't really provide my own at that point. He couldn't do anything. And it was just the worst. He had one pot with no handle on it, just busted off handles, just the nub where it's screwed into.
Overrated handle.
I would argue it was broken.
Literally, he cooked like Dan Aykroyd cooked in the Blues Brothers. Just that little hot plate with a hanger and a piece of toast on it. Like that's how Pops Carolla cooked. You do a good lunch for Tessa?
I do. That's my thing, man. Christy's the fucking parent of the year. She does all the stuff, all the play, all the games, the whatever, artwork. But I do lunch almost every night, and I'm damn good at it. Tessa's gotten to the point now where she's like coming on like, Daddy, I ate my whole lunch again, for the 6th day in a row, whatever it's been, because I make a good, nice mix of, a couple little treaties in there, but like good stuff. She loves strawberries, loves apples, whatever, a little bit of salami.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And I follow in Steve Grad's footsteps. Depending on what book we read the night before, because he has to read every night, I write a note from that character that he has to read.
That's actually really, really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
A lot of Captain Underpants.
I would just
Tessa loves Captain
great.
Underpants.
I would just then I would just mooch, whatever.
Well, yeah, no one would trade you because your lunch sucks.
No, there's no trading. What I figured out quickly is that the dudes, the Valley dudes, these were the Rays and the Chris's and the me's, were larger and ate more than the Jewish kids, because the Jewish kids would come down the hill, but their parents loved them, so they had the best lunch with kind of the lightest appetite.
Right.
So I could just kind of sit next to Nate Wittenberg for a while, and at some point he'd get bored with his sandwich, and that's where I swooped in, unless Ray got there first, in which case Ray would spit on the sandwich to claim it in the name of Spain.
There are a couple of Disney buzzards like hang up above, just waiting for that sandwich to be
turkey vultures.
There was also like Joan, who worked in the snack shack, who we could go. She might slide us a free sticky bun or something like that if we went over there and got the full mooch going.
Did you at least get a milk?
No, but I will say this, although it's kind of interesting. Don't get your kid in mooch mode too early. I was born into Mooch Central. Like, it was a lot of like, hey, can I get that? You got, what do you got? Who do you know who works in the snack shack? It wasn't, we should get 50 cents. It was more like, we know Joan.
Yeah.
We can go over there.
Go right to the source.
Joan, but Joan's got to wait until the line goes down. She's got to wait till her supervisor. We can go talk to her. Like, this guy works at a McDonald's. We knew a guy who worked at a 7-Eleven. Like, we'll go in there and mooch.
Resourceful.
And then the problem is these guys graduated high school. They're still in full mooch mode.
Yeah, they've been trained.
Everyone's trained up to mooch at this point, and it doesn't ultimately serve you. You have to be in the, why don't we make enough money so we can go to the snack shack and buy our own stuff. It was a lot of, we've got to talk everybody into something they don't want to do so we can have something. Which, it's not a good life strategy. Ryan, Mean Grandma, 41 Ohio? Yes. What's your Mean Grandma story?
I come from a pretty big family, and we would celebrate all the grandkids' birthdays in that month. And my birthday is in May. It's in early May. And around my 13th birthday, it was decided that I was infringing on my grandmother's Mother's Day. My birthday needed to move.
Sure.
Wow.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and take that birthday out of here.
So I don't know which is worse, is the ask or that everybody went along with it.
Ugh. They're probably so sick of listening to her.
Another interesting family trait of the not that into their kids family and sort of low rent families, a lot of combining. My sister's birthday is May 9th and mine's May 27th. So I was like, well, we can't have two separate, we'll just have, we can't make.
You're both May 18th now.
We can't have two pineapple upside down cakes in the same month.
Come on.
What's insane? Yeah, we'll just kind of morph them together on like the 18th or something. We'll do the one. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Did she have any isms? My grandmother was mean, but she also liked to kind of lord her power over you by making you uncomfortable or knocking you on your heels a little bit. That was part and parcel of you're not pronouncing this correctly.
Sure.
You kind of get, whoa, how'd I say it? What'd I say? I remember I just thought about this the other day because I looked at Sonny and he had hair on his shins.
Oh, good
and
for him.
When I was like 15, I was at my grandmother's house. She looked at my shins. She goes, "You got hair on your shins." I go, "Yeah, thanks." She goes, "That means you can have babies now."
Oh,
I just remember going like, ugh, like weird. Or I guess she was telling me pull out. I was like, "Don't worry, with my self-esteem that you guys have bestowed on me, I'm not going to."
This won't be a problem for many years.
You'll be warning me about my prostate and pulling out. So did your grandma say anything to you?
It wasn't anything really like that. Was it because there's a lot of grandchildren? I think I was just I was obviously lower on the totem pole. Was it I didn't really come into favor until she liked my eventual wife, so she preferred my wife more than me.
Oh, how nice. She made it clear, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit there's always a bit of it's not only do we have to knock you down a couple pegs, but we could sort of by proxy like the people around you more, which will help settle you down. Yeah, I had my girlfriend left me, and my grandparents went to Europe. My grandma's thing is
to gloat.
They'd have all those books like Europe on $10 a day and all that stuff. And my grandmother would just bide all get all her VA, vacation days and sick days, and they'd roll them over. And then once a year they'd fly coach and they'd go to Hungary and they'd hang out for 5 weeks.
Pretty cool.
And they'd go back to, my grandfather was born in Hungary, so they're going back to Europe. And their house would be open. And my girlfriend left me, moved out of our apartment, and moved into their house with, their blessing.
Stop.
And I remember one time going over there and saw a strange motorcycle parked. And, oh, great, she's getting laid in grandma's bed. I was heartbroken. And they were in grandma's
Psychological
house.
Devastating.
That is not, no.
Oh, yes.
I got goosebumps. That's so sad.
That's great.
Let's not forget, my dad moved into their house.
Right, they have a long history
of this.
Oh my God, that's fucked up. How do you speak to your grandparents after that? They made their choice.
Well, they had the goulash, so I had to go over there, and they had the Academy movies.
Right. Please tell me, was she paying rent?
No. It was she moved out of the apartment we were in, and she moved into my grandparents' house, and she was entertaining over there.
Suitors.
Yeah, so we got that working for us. All right, let me tell you about Simply Safe. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Want your home to feel safer? There's no better time than now. This week, our friends at Simply Safe are giving Adam Carolla Show listeners early access to their Black Friday deal. 50% off everything you need. Indoor, outdoor cameras, comprehensive sensors, around-the-clock monitoring by trained professionals who send help in an instant if you need it. Named Best Home Security System 2021 by U.S. News and World Report. Easily customized, and you can do it all online. Do it in minutes. Even get free custom recommendations as well. These are Simply Safe's biggest discounts of the year. Get a complete home security system starting at just over $100 with no long-term contracts or commitments. Supplies are limited. Take 50% off at simplysafe.com/Adam. Do it today. That is Simply Safe, 2 I's, simplysafe.com/Adam. All right. We got some trending topics with Max Zapata, and we'll do that right after this. Yeah, there we go. All right, Max Zapata's in studios. Got some trending subjects.
Yeah, so I'll kick this one off with Adam. Are you familiar with the show titled You? Y-O-U. It's on Netflix.
Yes, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I figure you haven't seen it. I think it's aimed towards the teens. I don't know. It's Penn Badgley. He's a stalker, and it kind of has his internal monologue going through and just does all these crazy things. It's on season 3 now. Season 2 had Chris D'Elia, and he played a comedian that went after underage girls, and so that's why people were kind of freaking out that similar things happened.
Is he canceled? I mean,
I think he's just disappeared.
Laying low?
Yeah, he's laying low. He's under the radar.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, it's kind of tough if you're a stand-up comedian to lay low and stay under the radar, because that's kind of your job, is to not lay low. But
I mean, I haven't heard of him doing any sets or anything like that. I mean,
you kind of wonder, is everybody that well off financially that they can just lay low for 2 years? It kind of makes you wonder.
He had a lot of TV work, and I think he's at least financially set to lay low for maybe another year.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's a show called You, and there's this clip of Laura Ingraham talking to Raymond Arroyo that was going around last night. And they kind of did this who's on first thing, but let's watch it and let's just see what you think.
All right.
because everyone's talking about it.
To the politics and all those woke storylines in so many shows today. You know, I was watching an episode of You where measles came up.
Wait. When did I mention measles?
I don't know. It was on You.
Wait, what was on me? What are you talking about? Is Raymond even hearing what I'm saying? I never had the measles.
Was on You.
We never did a measles and vaccine episode. Is this a joke?
I know.
don't even know what you're talking about.
It was on You. It was on You.
Raymond, I've never had measles. What are you talking about? This is stupid.
It was an episode of a show, Laura.
What's it called?
You.
What is he talking about?
It's called You.
So
I've
this is a deliberate who's on first comedy
Exactly.
bid.
It's a show
I give up.
called You on Netflix.
The thing is,
There's
neither
a
of
show
them
called Luring on Netflix.
ever admitted this was a
What are you
bit.
talking about?
I'm
I was
moving
gonna say,
on to
that
Adele. I can't explain this.
I
to
think
you.
she's genuinely
Singer.
confused.
Dawson also thinks
Oh.
she's genuinely confused.
Oh. Well, she's. Look, as far as I can tell from most Republicans, they don't have great comedic acting chops, generally. So if she's being convincing, maybe she does believe it.
I think she does.
Oh.
Yeah, Gio also thought that it was real because when he sent it to me yesterday too, he was cracking up about it.
But the dude knows he's messing with her. Like, he's hamming it up, right?
I don't
Yeah,
think he's messing
I
with her
think
at all.
he like he was hamming it
He
up.
could
Like,
have
He easily cleared that up.
Yeah.
So yes, he's playing a joke and she's not in on it.
You think she's on
I think
in
she
on it
looked
too?
legitimately
on it.
confused.
What was his point with the TV show You? Because
Well, the point was woke storylines, I guess, in current television.
It seemed like just a springboard into this bit.
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know if she's in on it or not. But anyway, what's
Penn Badgley, who the star of You, also great in the movie Easy Way.
I'm not Penn Badgley.
He says, it's got to be a bit. Dude is committed. He actually made me LOL, but watch how he waits for her to cut him off in the back and forth. And I watch it a few times.
Well, she
It's
knows the
totally a
show.
bit. Yeah, and then Andy Richter.
You think it's totally a bit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Andy Richter says the fact that people are actually laughing at that Laura Ingraham thing makes me feel like I've wasted the last 35 years of my life.
Well, it reminds me. God, we can find this. I think, Kaylin. I gotta think of it. All right. I don't have super strong opinions about it because it's kind of neither here nor there. But it's interesting that people are captured. But that's got to be a slow news day for people to get.
It's been viewed over 5 million times
Really?
last night. Yeah,
but because people want to because human beings want to unravel this. Like, we got to know: was this staged?
Exactly.
Was it happenstance?
Well, most of the reaction that I've seen was, "Look how dumb Laura Ingraham is. This is the shut up and dribble lady, and she doesn't even know about pop culture or the show You."
I think it's a whole bit. But this is why it's been viewed so many times, because now I want to watch it again.
All right. So, oh God.
Adam's right about the lack of comedy chops on the part of the Laura Ingrams of the world. Like, she's genuinely confused. There's no way she could pull off that acting.
I agree.
I gotta
She
see
is
this
not
again.
a great actor. She's
Yeah,
a television
she's convinced.
host.
She's totally
She's
convincing as
too
someone who's confused.
convincing.
But how do you know she's not a great
She's
actor?
not.
See, I thought she was a bad actress. Like I've seen it probably 5 times now, and I'm looking at her. I'm going, man, she is not good. She is not convincing at all.
Wow.
Well, I could probably. I don't have.
Pulling a call.
I don't have Laura Ingram's phone number, but I maybe Tucker. Maybe Tucker could
Let
get to
him
the
weigh in
bottom
on
of
this.
this. Although he doesn't own a TV set, so
Oh, yeah, he hasn't seen it then.
I don't know, but maybe he saw it on his phone.
But isn't that your joke writing 101 is don't be confusing?
Yeah, oh yeah, joke right. Well, there's certain jokes where the person that's making the joke has it worked out in their head and they think, oh, this is going to be funny and here's how it's going to go. And I don't need to tell the other person this is how they play it out in their head. And maybe that's what happened
like
here.
I
don't
joke
know.
on his part that she wasn't aware of.
Well, now we need to see it again. I just mean the whole general premise. But you can also find in the controversy hoax TV department, jokes or hoax. Ralphie May
Falling down.
yeah.
falling down the stairs at Kimmel.
Watch her at the end.
All right.
Watch her the whole time.
Politics and all those woke storylines in so many shows today. You know, I was watching an episode of You where measles came up.
Wait. When did I mention measles?
I don't know. It was on You.
Wait, what was on me? What are you talking about? Right? Is Raymond even hearing what I'm saying? I never had the measles.
That sounds like she's in.
I agree.
We never did a measles and vaccine episode. Is this a joke?
I know.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It was
very. It's a joke thing, actually.
I've never had. Raymond, I've never had measles.
She wouldn't be
what
this
are you
indignant.
Talking about? This is stupid.
It was an episode.
Well,
call him
how
stupid.
committed he is, though. Ben's right. Like, he's really going for it.
I would never say if somebody.
I've never done a show on measles. I just completely give
if
up.
somebody said, you know, hey Adam, remember you did that podcast on measles? I'd go, I've never done a podcast. I'd go like, oh, how long ago? When was that? Because she does a show every night. She's been doing it for 5 years. She's done 2,000 shows.
You wouldn't just call the guy stupid and move on.
Yeah,
you're stupid.
Yeah, you talk about a million things every night.
You have to entertain it just for a little bit.
You'd have to entertain it. That's exactly right. You'd have to let it emulsify.
Did I?
Like, what? Measles. And plus, measles, you could have been talking about why do kids need a vaccine, and someone goes, well, they get their measles shot, then they should get their vaccine shot. You'd think it was part of a bigger.
You wouldn't just declare, I've never had the measles.
I've never had the measles.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't prevent you from talking about the measles. I think she was in on it.
I will say the guy could have been a lot clearer in clearing it up. He just kept saying, you, like as opposed to, there is a show, the title is YOU.
Well, I think we all agree that he knew it was a bit.
He was in, and I think she was in as well by saying, I've never had the measles.
And maybe the look of disgust and confusion on her face at the end was just a look saying that joke did not work.
But hey, we're talking about her, aren't we?
More people watch that show than ever.
So the Ralphie May in his appearance on Kimmel.
I'll pull it up during news today.
Okay.
Yeah.
He took a spill.
He took a spill, and it's believable.
It's believable, but he, I think, always claimed it was a pratfall.
Yeah,
that was the controversy.
All right, well let's go to the next topic.
I will say this: you can watch. You know, if you watch, we'll get into the nuts and the bolts of Ralphie May, but see, for me, the thing I learned doing Loveline all those years ago is, like I said, when somebody would say, you know, had sex with my best friend's mom. Mm-hmm. So you guys know how this goes. But the reason I'm bringing it up is if you say I had sex with my best friend's mom, and I go, what was the mom wearing? And they go, I don't know, like just, I don't know, T-shirt and shorts or something. I don't remember. Then that's truthful. Right. If he has the negligee with the stiletto heel,
with ostrich feathers.
Right. Well, that meant he's worked the story out in his head.
Right.
And to me, the reason why Ralphie May didn't do a pratfall but actually slipped and went down hard is because when he got to the sofa to talk to Jimmy, he didn't have things chambered. Mm-hmm. So if you are making an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live or any late night show and you work it out that I'm going to do this pratfall, then you will pre-chamber 3 or 4 jokes about suing him.
I haven't seen a slip like this since Janet Jackson at the halftime show.
That's right.
Thank you.
Very good. So you'd have a few chambered and a few angles worked out. You would not have, I'm going to fake a fall and then go sit next to the host with nothing chambered.
Right.
That's too much to throw away.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So another trolling job on the internet that everyone's freaking out about is Barstool Sports. They posted a power rankings of the top 10 female singers. Mm-hmm. And I'll just read them to you.
This is funny.
Yeah, so number 1, Mariah Carey. 2, Whitney Houston. 3, JoJo. 4, Lady Gaga. 5, Aretha Franklin. 6, Beyonce. 7, Ashley Simpson. 8, Tina Turner. 9, Adele. And 10, Addison Rae, who's a TikTok star.
In that order.
In that order, yes.
Who's JoJo?
I think she was like a 90s singer, right? Or like a maybe early 2000s, like
JoJo,
pop
actually.
singer.
Yeah, I don't know JoJo either.
Well, not a lot of people did. And everybody's of course, everyone's freaking out, taking this as truth. Kaylin's like, this is just a troll job. Kaylin didn't even want to do this. So it's like, I don't want to give Barstool the airtime for putting this up. Mm-hmm.
Good instinct, Carolla.
Thank you.
Yeah, so and like everyone's just replying with who should be on the list, and I just wanted to get your guys' takes. Who should be on this list? I mean, Adam, you saw Celine Dion play in Vegas.
Yeah, I watched her last night in the David Foster thing. I mean, she's hitting notes, and like he at a certain point said to her, like, I'm going to do this arrangement with this note and then another octave, and you're not going to be able to do it, but you can try. And she hit it.
Wow.
Like at, 19 or 20 or whatever. I mean, it's crazy. Her voice is nuts.
Yeah.
Her storytelling, not so good. She does a lot of tell the story before every song, we could roll past into that.
The Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is a super unfunny, slightly English is my second language version of they shut the mill down and Dad was out of work, but this was bad. But yeah, she should be on there. But now, are we just going for pure vocal chops, or are we going for, Joan Armatrading or something? It's a little more stylized, more interesting.
Or your Nina Simones, your Billie Holidays, your Ella Fitzgeralds.
Yeah, those are all
Never heard
people
of
that
them.
people are saying too. Amy Winehouse is on the list. Linda Ronstadt, everyone's thought that she should be on. Adele should be on there. I think Brian saw her.
This is
Adele's great.
This is well timed. And I don't want to screw this up, but when David Foster was working on The Bodyguard and working with Costner and trying to find a big ending song for Whitney to sing, they first had this David Ruffin. David Ruffin was a spinner or four-top, or there's like one of the guys who broke away from one of those bands, and he had they had What Becomes of the Broken Hearted.
I think it's his brother Dave Ruffin.
Oh, it's Dave
Well,
Ruffin.
we can look that up, yeah. But it was a Ruffin. It was a great song.
Broken-hearted.
Love that song.
And Foster's like, it's okay, but it's not great. And then he came across the Dolly Parton one, and then he realized that Linda Ronstadt covered that one as well. And then told someone, like, go out and get the Linda Ronstadt version of it, but she skipped a verse or something that he wanted, and that's how it anyway got back
engineer
to.
it.
Yeah. Who was I thinking of now? Sorry, keep going with your.
Gina, do you prefer Dolly's version over Whitney's?
No, and I'm fully support Dolly. She gets it. She says, people ask, do I get mad every time I hear that? And she goes, no, because every time I hear Whitney's version, all I hear is cha-ching. So she's fine with it.
Okay,
but
good.
I mean, Whitney's a powerhouse. I do think Dolly should be on that list. I think that her Minnie Mouse voice gets her overlooked a lot, but I do absolutely think she should be on that list.
I went back, since I've been taking these deep dives into these Netflix music docs.
Yeah.
You can find, is it Sarah Bareilles?
Sarah
she's
Bareilles, yeah.
She's one of my all-time faves.
Waitress.
I went back and looked at her singing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2012.
She was on the show, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She's come in.
Stony End, I think I watched her sing the live version of, see if we can find, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2012, Sarah Bareilles, Stony End, I think was doing a tribute to a singer-songwriter. Name escapes me right now. But anyway, it's so goddamn good because A, it's live, and B, those Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, their wrecking crew, their band is so fucking good. They're backup singers. They get the strings. Listen how good this song is. The live version of this song is. And she's playing the piano too.
She's a real deal.
I was born from love. My poor mother worked mine. I was raised on the good book Jesus till I read between the lines. Now I don't believe I want to see the morning.
Turn it up.
Going down the stony and I never wanted to go down the stony.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, Adam.
It's a good song.
Do you play the piano?
It's so good.
I love the backup singers. I'd like to be like on the just standing in the wings with DJ Khaled. When you have anything you could contribute to this?
I mean, scream over the song.
You could get Sarah water, I guess. What could you do to help this?
Tell her she the best.
Anything? Is there anything you could do on this stage with these people? Fucking lump of shit.
You know, you when she was on the show, you talked about this performance, and she doesn't like it. She thought she didn't do a good job.
I love it. That much easier to have sex with. Low self-esteem and a talented package. That's what you're looking for. Instead, you get Gina.
Gina Bareilles.
Oh, God. You know, she has a very smash hit Broadway musical on right now.
Yeah, Waitress, right?
Oh, yeah.
She just released a live album. Oh. Nice. She released a live album from the Hollywood Bowl. It's great.
Yeah, I stand by her. I love this song.
Come on.
And the fact that she's playing the piano is just that much better.
Yeah. Super hot. Well, can we talk about another singer?
How dare you?
God, this song's so good.
She has, can I just say, she has a great Tool tune. Actually, Brian would probably call it a Tool tune. I don't. She has this great pop song called I Choose You. She's just, and I'm not a big pop music person, but it is fantastic.
It's a great song.
Definitely look it up.
Yeah, that's just a great song.
Yeah.
Might surprise you. I'm a big Sarah Bareilles fan.
Oh, wow.
The first album is, first start to finish, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
All right. Well, it's unanimous.
Yeah.
Right.
It's unanimous. Her live albums, I think, better than her studio albums.
Well, she obviously has the chops to perform live. We just saw it.
Well, let's talk about another female singer here named Sophia Urista.
Oh, yeah. Urethra, you mean?
It's close. So she's in a band called Brass Against. Mm-hmm. And they're a rock band. They do a lot of Rage Against the Machine and Tool covers.
I don't know why, but I was thinking about this band when I was like 19. We knew some girl who was in a band called Butt Trumpet.
I like that.
Let me guess what the big instrument was.
I like that.
You never... you got to look it up, Dawson, but there's a band out here called Butt Trumpet. Yeah, sorry.
That's pretty good.
That's a great name.
And you'd actually probably like this band because they do all like metal covers with brass instruments.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm into that.
Well, they were playing at the Welcome to Rockville Festival in Daytona Beach, Florida, when during the show, Sophia, she has a lot of energy. She got the crowd going, and she's like, I gotta pee. And she says, but I'm on stage here. Mm-hmm. What are we gonna do about this? And then she singles out a guy in the crowd because this guy has a beer can taped to his forehead. And he's like, you, get up over here. I'm gonna pee on your face. And
now, to be fair to her, she was trying to make it into the can, right?
Was she trying that hard?
So what happens? So the guy gets up. He's stoked. He's like, I'm being called out. This is awesome. So he goes up on stage. She forces him. Well, she didn't force, but she has him.
It's kind of like Courtney Cox in that Springsteen video.
Yeah.
Same
Right.
difference.
She has him
because we've seen the Springsteen video.
Yeah. It's eerily similar.
Okay.
So she has him lie down. We won't watch it because it did not pass the lasagna test for me.
Oh my god!
But
I wouldn't mind.
Okay, we can see it. All right, Kaylin, put it up.
She's hot.
Yeah.
Until now.
She
Squats over his face. There it goes.
Wait.
Wow.
You'll know.
It is. It looks like sparks.
She's being waterboarded.
It is and this guy is just loving it. He's not moving.
Where's the Taliban? Tell me now.
So he's rocking out. He walks away. This guy gets up. He starts spitting it back into the crowd, mixing it out.
Oh, my God.
Felching.
Yeah. And she's like, get this guy off the stage. And then they go on. So.
Same vid.
What she did is technically illegal. You can't do that.
Well, it's funny. I was like, what? He told me the story. I was like, what part of Germany did this take place in? It was like Florida. I'm like,
there you go.
Germany or Florida?
It works.
Still holds up.
She's hot. That's kind of hardcore.
Yeah.
Got a ton of views. Everybody's talking about it online. And one of the biggest responses is, wow, this band rips. Like they're actually really good. And so they got a ton of new fans for it. But a few things. The band, they released a statement saying, like, she got carried away. That's not something the rest of us expected. You won't see that again at any of our shows.
Oh, boo.
NASCAR's like, they will not be in any of our future programming. And then she just apologized like last night saying, I went too far. I love my family, the band, fans.
I'd like to watch that video with Howie Mandel.
Just have him in a
and I
fetal
wouldn't look
position
at
on
the
the floor.
screen. I would face my chair with my back to the screen, and I would
reaction
just
video, basically.
Right.
watch, and then I'd be like, Howie, pretty bad. So a little palate cleanser. Give me 2 girls, 1 cup. Let's see if we can just kind of remove that image from your mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
She has crazy pipes though. She was on The Voice, maybe. She was like a contestant on The Voice.
Yeah, when she was singing up there, like some people were saying, I'm surprised she didn't drop a deuce because of how hard she was going while she was. It was I mean,
it's the best thing she could have done for her career.
I can't unsee it.
But we all know who
This
she
is
is
great.
now.
You know who loves this news? Fergie.
Oh.
Because she had a little wet spot in her tinkle spot, and everybody made a big deal out of it.
Right.
And then it was like, did she spill something? You think she peed herself? That could be sweat. We have a new leader in the clubhouse. We're referencing female singers who may have had a little bladder issue.
Ray
on
probably
stage.
doesn't like the competition.
Oh, yeah. And I wouldn't even want to show Ray this video because him and Chris be like, amateur hour. Look at her.
She's not even brewing.
Not even coming out of her butt.
Yeah, she's not even rifled. It's a shit show up there.
No velocity.
Not near the strike zone. Yeah, they'd have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, that went every which way, that pee.
We break it down like the Manning brothers, watching the game film to get the telestrator out. Yeah, that was, look, anytime you pee on someone where you're relying that much on gravity, it's not for us. It's not even worth our time.
Yeah.
Why wasting our time?
Yeah.
Well, police said that they are not pressing charges. And
It's
they're not gonna take
more,
anything like that.
I feel to me, this is more about the guy. I mean, who was the guy? Did he show up at work? Does he have kids? You know what I mean?
And and speaking of who's on first, was it a setup? Did he already know that was going to be? He had a can strapped to his head.
Yeah.
It was Laura Ingraham.
Raymond Arroyo orchestrated this fiasco.
Me?
This had to be spontaneous because if I think of it, this was a crime of passion, not a premeditated murder. Right. I think the band would kind of go, it's a NASCAR thing, or like, let's not, don't do this.
But I mean, this is the most publicity they've ever had.
Seriously.
So, there you go. They got a ton of new fans. We'll excited to see what they do next. But someone who did get arrested for pouring hot liquid on a person's face. This girl, she was from Temple, Texas, and she had a soup. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was all over TikTok. She brought the soup up to the counter because it was too hot, and
I don't know
melted.
where I'm spending so much time on Bring a Trailer that all this stuff gets right past my radar.
Yeah. So this went viral on TikTok. But she brought the soup back, and she said it's too hot. It melted the lid, and then this happened. They're talking about it.
Right in her scalding hot.
Right in her face. Well,
wow.
That was a direct hit. That was more concentrated than the urine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Janelle Brolin is the one that got hit, and she said that it wasn't as hot as she was claiming it was, and actually
she would know.
She did. She posted a video. Do you have that, Kaylin? Sorry, I didn't know if you had it right. Okay. Well, she posted a video, and she's just like, it wasn't that hot. What really sucked was the spices in the soup. It's getting in my eyes, and it made my nose bleed.
I'd hire that gal. I love those. I love those people that go, I'm fine. That's all right.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy who threw the soup.
No, not the thrower of the soup.
Yeah.
So who do we prefer behind, if you were the cashier, the one at the Canadian donut place that took a shit on the floor,
Tim
or someone
Hortons.
or someone who throws soup in your face? What cashier would you rather be?
Well, the thing about the soup in the face, especially at a place that serves soup, is you don't get a whole lot of notice.
Right.
Not a lot of ducking around.
Very little.
No squatting.
You got to pulling down the yoga pants and squatting is about enough time for me to get behind the counter. You know what I mean?
Take shelter.
I wonder if the dude who got peed on stage would probably enjoyed the shit flinging video himself, or maybe he feels some kinship with that person.
He probably does. Yeah,
they should reach out to one another.
Totally.
They do that stuff for like survivors of kids who've lost your child to cancer, and we get together with other adults that have had this tragedy. A support group, an encounter group. Yeah,
Soup port group.
A soup port group.
Yeah.
I threw a bowl of soup at one of my best friends one time, drunkenly at a Halloween party. One of my biggest regrets.
Really?
So,
hot soup?
No, it was the soup that was left outside of room service.
You can throw gazpacho all day long.
I know. It was fun. Well, what happened? I don't know if this happened to you in your past, but I had a girlfriend who, she was kind of crazy, and she's like, "Hey, Jason's being a jerk to me. I need you to go straighten him out."
Oh, boy.
And he's my friend, but she was just egging me on to the point where I was so mad at her. I'm like, I need to prove to you how dumb you are by telling Jason, "Hey, Jason, why are you being a dick to my girlfriend?" And I took a bowl of soup and I threw it at him, and man, I felt it was just like it was.
You showed her.
It wasn't me at all.
That's not you.
Yeah.
I can't waste food. Like I have
Even
such
if it's not your wasting?
crazy thing with food. I can't. So it's like whenever I see a ball game or something, it's like, the pitcher being the guy, they're throwing their beers at him. I was like, that's a $14 beer. It's a half full beer. You just wait in line for and paid $14. Like, do something else.
I have that when people smash guitars.
It's gotta hurt.
Hurts to watch.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
All I know about when you get drunk is people get to lift you up and sing "I've Had the Time of My Life."
That does. Yeah, well, that happens now. I've learned a lot
Good.
since then. I've grown.
All right. Well, we have Bryan Baumgartner on the phone, or on the Zoom, ready to go. So let's bring it home.
All right, everybody, check out the water cooler.
Max his real name's
I'm sticking by my theory of women having a shorter fuse than men.
Well, we're seeing it everywhere now. We can't debate that anymore.
Yes, there's more. You can get from, hey, what's the problem, to hands-on or soup in the face in a much more consolidated period of time. Dudes do a little more posh. Hey, dude,
want some?
You lucky.
The fuck?
You fucking work. If you were behind that counter, I'd fuck you up. Okay. Like, you're lucky my kid's with me.
Hold me back.
Chicks go right to the soup throwing or the hair grabbing,
the
man.
martini in the face.
They don't stop. Yeah. All right. We don't need to see that. All right. Let me tell you about Fiverr. It's hard to make something out of nothing. Turning that big idea into reality can feel overwhelming. With Fiverr, turning that idea into something is easier than ever. I know you use Fiverr, Gina Graham.
I was an early adapter to Fiverr. I've had logos done. I've had different pieces of art done. And you can connect to literally anyone in the world. It's really great.
It is no better time to be alive or start your own business with Fiverr. Website building, music, video animation, and so much more. Simply search for the services you need, set the timeline and the price you want. It's simple to use. The platform is super straightforward with great customer service and qualified freelancers in every field. It's Fiverr, right, Dawson?
Every successful something was once nothing. Head to Fiverr.com and turn nothing into something today. Receive 10% off your first order by using code ADAM at Fiverr.com. Again, that's Fiverr.com, code ADAM.
Well, the Office's own Bryan Baumgartner is going to join us. He'll welcome him back to the show right after this.
Every 60 seconds, not one, but two children are trafficked. And every 30 seconds, one is forced into exploitation for the purpose of heinous acts.
Human trafficking is happening in your own backyard. It is happening to your neighbors.
Many whom we see every day in our own communities, hidden in plain sight.
You know, there's kids out there that are being bought and sold 20 times a day.
We must bring the child back to the center of our care and concern. Today we launch Goya Cares.
Goya Cares is committed to supporting victims and overcomers of trafficking and abuse to recover, restore, reconnect, and to shine the light that will block traffic.
This is where we become the light.
God saved me. I believe that I was called to this. Perhaps He's calling you too.
Block traffic.
Join Goya Cares and visit blocktraffic.org.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam. I remember there was a lot of pronto in the 70s. A lot of stepdads saying pronto. I'm bringing pronto back. Pronto.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Good. I miss pronto. I mean, at some point, they're going to find out it's cultural appropriation or something. But for now, let's bring it back. Yes, Gina.
Pronto right up there with We've Got Company.
That's every action movie I ever heard. Bryan Baumgartner is here, of course, to place Kevin Malone on The Office. The Office, the most watched streaming title of 2020 with 57 billion minutes watched. Hey, Bryan.
How are you?
Good. Where are you at?
Well, I am here in New York City, and I know this sounds crazy, but I am in an office. I am in what they call a temporary workspace, I guess. I have never been in one. Adam, here's why. My hotel, it's now dark in New York City, as you can see behind me. In my hotel room, every 7 minutes, the lights turn off if I'm not walking or jumping around.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They had to find me an office in this temporary workspace. So I am in an office talking to you because the lights in my hotel room would not stay on for the length of this interview. So there you go.
That's funny because that is an Office episode where Pam is fighting with Dwight and they have to, the lights go off and they have to keep waving their arms for the light to go back on.
Yeah, I went out to New York. This had to be almost 10 years ago, and it was one of those hotel rooms where you had to put the key in the universal slot inside, otherwise there was no power in there. But it was light outside, and the slot was behind the door. So when you flung the door open, you didn't see anything. And then I went and sat on the bed, and I picked up the TV remote, and I was like, oh, fucking batteries are dead in the remote. And I'm like, oh, boy. And I did the move where I rolled them with my thumb because that's all I got.
Yep.
And then I did it again, and I was like, TV doesn't work. The remote's no good. Then I called the front desk. I was like, I need a new remote or some batteries or something. They need to tell you at the desk, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Probably the first time.
100%.
Yeah, first time it's ever brought to their attention.
Yeah. Upon check-in, they need to tell you.
Yes.
And I actually have stayed in one of those rooms too where you have to put the keys in. So I'm searching for the keys. It's pitch black in the room. I'm laughing. I'm like, I don't know how to turn the lights on. And then I just kind of walk down the hall and feeling my way, and the lights turn on. So I'm like, oh, okay. But that only works like half the time also. So anyway, I am in a temporary office space. Very bizarre. People are working all around me, and I'm talking to you.
The book is called Welcome to Dunder Mifflin, and it is the ultimate oral history of The Office, available now on Amazon. It is a substantial
It's like a literal Bible of the show.
Yeah.
Yes, say it, Adam. Say it's thick.
It
is
thick.
Girthy.
It is girthy. It is real. And I shows like The Office, I'm generally discouraged at the direction humanity is heading, and I don't have to look any further than my kids. But the fact that that they watched every episode, probably starting at age 13, they're like 15 and a half now, and all their friends, made it the #1 streamed show in the world, essentially. That gives me some hope, because there's no reason why my daughter should love the shit out of The Office other than it's an amazingly written show. And I always have this thought that real quality people respond universally. Like, we do a lot of stuff where you go, well, these kids they're too dumb, or you write a great song or make a great piece of art, and it transcends education and age and annual salary and everything else. And so The Office gives me some hope.
Well, thanks. I truly started this whole process that is culminated in the book, because what you bring up is truly what I was curious about, right? So like we were a top show, the top like scripted show on NBC when we were on, but 7-8 years after we have filmed anything, suddenly now it's like the most watched television show in the world. And I wanted to find out why, and why your daughter is watching this show, which was ostensibly made for people who worked in offices, figuring that's who would relate to it. But the fact that it's translated so well to young people, to sort of this new generation, it's sort of ever populating. It's awesome.
And you think about what these kids have at their fingertips now. So
plenty of choices.
When I was a kid, it's like, what do you want to do? You want to watch F Troop or do you want to watch Mr. Ed? It's like, well, they're both bad, hackneyed, comedies from a bygone era, but that's what we got left over. We didn't have, I don't know, how many episodes of The Office that they could binge watch?
It's something like 207 half hours
years.
of The Office. Yeah. And part of that also for people truly like your daughter writing the book, because The Office went through a journey. Truly, after 6 episodes, it was dead. Like it was canceled. It was not going to come back. And a bunch of stuff changed. A bunch of stuff went right. I mean, let's be honest. Mostly, Steve Carell made a little movie called A 40-Year-Old Virgin. Right. And we laugh, we tell stories and laugh in the book about the NBC executives sitting around a conference table going, fuck, we can't cancel the show now. We'll look ridiculous. We've got the biggest movie star on the planet. We have a show no one's watching, but what are we going to do? But that bought us enough time, I think, to kind of find that cult following and keep the show on the air until it finally exploded.
Well, Gina's seen every episode 5 times,
multiple.
So I'm going to let her take over.
Thank you, because I have to say, for us purists with the migration over to Peacock, I thought, ugh, God, I like it the way I like it, and I just want to watch it the way I watch it. But I got to tell you, and I'm sure you've heard this, and maybe you agree, that having these Easter eggs of these totally new scenes, it's like every episode's a brand new episode. It's so much fun to watch. And I'm wondering with you, because you, of course, steal the scene whether you want to or not. It's just fantastic. If there were any, because I haven't seen all the ones from Peacock yet, are there any scenes that didn't make it in with you that you wish did?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't think they're showing this one on Peacock, but I'll share this with you, right? So there's like the dark web that is Reddit, which terrifies me personally. I don't get it enough, but apparently there's a thread there that's thousands and thousands and thousands of postings that I've glanced around a little bit. That is basically the theory Kevin is a secret genius. And has been embezzling slowly money from Dunder Mifflin over the years. And they find like the smallest of moments or looks or anything that indicates this, but it culminates in this idea that that he got fired from Dunder Mifflin in the finale,
right?
And he ends up owning a bar,
right?
And so that's like their gotcha moment, which is like, see, he's embezzling money, now he has a bar. Well, very quickly, there's a storyline in the finale. The finale is like, I don't know, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Eventually, NBC was like, all right, we got to cut it off. At some point, we shot this storyline, which was Kevin. The storyline is as follows. When the documentary airs on the show, the fictional documentary that's been filmed for 9 years airs, Kevin becomes a fan favorite. Right. So like I personally have office T-shirts in my office that are like weird drawings of my face. And like Kevin is awesome, all this stuff. So he's a fan favorite. Every time he goes to any bar anywhere, people want to buy Kevin a drink, which is based on my personal experience. So what the story is that there's a particular bar in Scranton, Pennsylvania that he keeps going into. And so many people buy him a drink that he accumulates such a credit at this bar that he leverages it to become an owner of that bar. And that is not a secret genius embezzlement scheme, but that is the truth behind why Kevin ends up with a bar at the end of the show.
That is funny and so satisfying. But I hate to shit on everybody's point on Reddit, but I'm sorry, I can disprove that theory in one scene. I believe it's titled "The Criminal," when you have the talking head of the guy, the prisoner work program, when you say,
yes.
"I've asked him to explain to me what he did to go to jail 10 times, and that's exactly what I do here," like not knowing it.
Right, unknowing.
Right.
Yes.
I don't think anyone has had their life improved in any way, shape, or form from Reddit.
I agree.
Anytime I see someone who's in a bad mood, I was like, Reddit? Yeah, I read shit about me on Reddit. And evidently Reddit is much crueler than everywhere else because people complain about Twitter, but Twitter...
Well, people say nice things occasionally.
Reddit...
I hope your health's okay.
Right.
Kid looks great. Occasionally get a nice thing on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Twitter. I don't even look at Reddit because it's all horrible.
It's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, so I would ask my kids. Twitter's pot and Reddit's fentanyl. Basically, I would look at it, and I would steer my kids more toward the weed than
absolutely.
the fentanyl.
But Kevin actually has what I would consider, and of course Michael Scott has multiple, but I would say that Kevin has the most touching moment in the entire series. And I think it was so out of character that I constantly go back to this moment and I get a little choked up with the episode of you and Andy Bernard wanting to fight for your parking spaces back. And there you go. This just could have been an email. It was this whole crazy plot of them, having to go against the 5 families in the business park, and you finally win. And I'm sure you remember it better than me, but he's going through this breakup with his girlfriend, and he's getting a little choked up, and he goes, "It's just nice to win one." And it's such a poignant moment that we never get from Kevin.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you for bringing up that moment. I've referenced that moment in trying to explain, I think, why people seem to have such an affection for the character of Kevin. Because I think, there's the obvious example of the chili, right? Which is that idea gone wrong, right? But that idea that, an ordinary guy who's working in the most ordinary of places still needs to find a small victory. And that small victory in life becomes important. And it doesn't matter that it's about 3 parking spaces in a strip mall in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but having that importance, being able to do something important. I think that's, I personally, that is one of the moments that I think for people who are fans of the show and have fallen in love with Kevin, I think that the writing on that is on point for most people.
Let's talk about the chili scene, which I'm not familiar with.
Cringy.
But Mindy Kaling threatened to leave the show because of the chili scene. So says Chris on my screen. That's as much as I know. So can we talk about the chili scene?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just become this, I don't know, the most iconic image of the show, the most memed, whatever. Kevin has something that he's incredibly proud of, which is that once a year he makes his family's famous chili. The reason that the discussion in the writer's room happened is because it's odd in a way that it's this beloved show that everybody loves. This is the moment that a lot of people refer to, yet it's shot in a totally different way. It's basically a monologue delivered by me over moving pictures that you see that's B-roll. And so it's only one character. There's almost nothing that's just one character in sort of an extended scene like this, and nobody else ever appears. But to me, it's this, there is physical comedy. There is me literally rolling around on a floor full of chili.
The whole pot slips out of his hand.
Why did Mindy threaten to quit over the scene?
Because she felt like it wasn't in the same spirit of the show. Like that,
okay.
Whether she's decided to quit, I'm not gonna endorse that idea. But yes, she was passionately against this scene ever airing or ever being shot because she felt like the voiceover was a departure, was different, wasn't really in the spirit of the show.
I get it. I remember, like, when I used to do the Man Show, and sometimes I'd be sitting there with Jimmy, and a writer or me or somebody would go, "Hey, I want to do this bit. I got an idea for a bit." And Jimmy oftentimes would go, "It's a funny bit." No, actually, most of the time he'd go, "That's the worst idea I've ever heard in my life," which gave you no room. Like, then you start arguing over his critique. Like, come on, you've heard worse ideas. Never. How about New Coke? Come on. You're like, no, it's the worst. But he'd say, "That's a funny bit. It's just not a Man Show bit."
Sure.
Right.
So I kind of get that writer's room of, it's not enough just to be funny. It has to be office bit.
I often think back to Larry Miller in this very room on this show, who's an intellectual comedian. He's Larry's a thoughtful guy who works out his bits, all that stuff. He said famously, well, not famously, but he said, and I think about it to this day, there's only funny and not funny. Like, whatever makes you laugh, that's funny. It can be intellectual, highbrow, lowbrow, anything in between. But if it's funny, it's funny.
Well, it was funny, but Mindy didn't think it was a Man Show bit. That's what I've learned. That's what I'm going to walk away.
That's what I learned
today. One other thing that really sort of makes me laugh, and I think I either heard this on your podcast or your cohort's podcast about shooting off season. And how, in the winter scenes, it's sweltering. You're in what, Panorama City or something, with these coats.
Panorama City.
Yeah, shooting these scenes, and you're sweating and
it's like a Hallmark movie.
Right. And then on these spring and summer scenes, you're freezing your ass off. And I always thought that was so funny. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I remember it was we shot at times we would shoot things out of order. So like the second season, we ended up, the Dundies was the first episode back, but there was an episode called The Fire. Mm-hmm. Ryan, the temp, starts a fire. There's a mystery. Why does the fire alarm go off? But basically, like 3 to 4 out of 5 days we spent out in the parking lot, right? Because the fire alarm goes off, we have to be out in the parking lot. But it's like it's supposed to be Scranton in fall. So we grabbed our coats, we have our coats on. And it's like 142 degrees in Panorama City, and there's no shade. There's no tree to stand under. And we stood there and just melted for 3 to 4 days. That's for sure. Although people ask me often this is weird. I don't know. Is this common knowledge? I don't know. People ask me like, what was the most difficult episode to shoot? And I don't know. They think emotionally, or I don't know, like in terms of being an actor or something. The episode I always say is in the 8th season, James Spader's character comes on and we have a pool party in his pool, and he has a pool. It's like an indoor pool at his house is the story. And I spent like 12 hours a day for 5 days in a pool shooting various things, but you can get hypothermia if you stay in a pool that's even just the normal pool temperature. So not only are we in a pool for 12 hours a day, we're in a pool that's like 97 degrees for 12 hours in a day. And that was the absolute worst episode.
Oh, God, I
film,
never
which
thought
you
of that.
didn't ask, and I don't know why I told that story. There you go.
It's not common knowledge. I have never heard that.
I want to say this. The next time somebody does you Hollywood guys are so pampered, tell them the pool story.
Yeah.
It was only 97.
I was in James Spader's pool for a week.
Dawson, our own Dawson has a question from the booth.
Yeah, hey, Bryan. Like Gina, I've watched the series at least 5 times in its entirety. It's wonderful and hilarious. But this last time, I had an epiphany, and I just want to see if I can get some verification on it. In the episode where Todd Packer takes a dump in Michael's office, it's revealed that by Ed Truck that someone also took a dump in his office. And this time when I saw it, I said, holy shit, Todd Packer also took a dump in Ed Truck's office. Is that true? Because there can't be more than one dumper, right?
I believe that what you have said is exactly true. Yes. Which actually, I mean, breaking news here on the Adam Carolla show. Yes, I think that was Todd Packer. Another fun fact I'll give to you. By the way, you have an incredibly sexy voice that is off-putting that I can't see your face as you're talking to me right now.
It matches.
Dave Keckner played Tom Packer, by the way.
Dave Keckner, yes. I learned something else on the show which relates to dumps, since that's where we've decided to go today. When you take a dump, I didn't even know this was a thing, but apparently if you take a dump in the tank of the toilet instead of the bowl, that is called an upper decker.
Upper decker.
Indeed it is.
Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. And it pollutes the water because that's where the water gets pulled from.
Right, when you flush it, that's where it goes.
Yeah.
I guess everybody knew that from me.
That is common knowledge.
I don't know what is. It kind of reminds me of what's more antisocial, the upper decker at work.
I can't wait for what's coming next.
Well, there are the guys who piss all over the roll, the
What?
toilet paper roll.
What kind of animal would do that?
Dudes, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But you would see the person at the bus stop or the gas station that just unleashed, unsoaked the whole roll.
Both horrible upper decker. That it can't be beat.
But I feel.
Tell me how you beat that.
I'm not a dog drinking from the toilet.
You would like to use the paper.
I'm gonna shit in the bullpen. Like I feel like I would be more negatively impacted by the paper being soaked. But they're both criminal minds. They both need to be put on Devil's Island and removed from society. There's no doubt about it.
Dude, you wipe?
I can't believe I'm gonna weigh in on this argument right here. But the one thing I would say, when you're examining a crime, you have to look at premeditation. And I guess you could make an argument in a court of law that the roll was an accident. However, there's no mistaking an upper decker. That was an intentional.
That's premeditated.
It's a hell of an accident.
Yeah. All right. And I'm also looking down that you're Cameo's highest earner last year.
Yeah.
How many cameos you doing a day?
First of all, Adam, you can't believe everything you read, but sometimes you can.
He did one cameo for $48,000.
Look, it's a crazy thing, this cameo thing. Excuse me 1 second. I need to do a couple before they expire. Here's how I view it, right? Because I was very, very hesitant about getting involved in this cameo thing to start with. But then I said, okay, I got on. People started getting very excited. Here's what I think it is. I think it has nothing to do with me. Okay, nothing at all to do with me. But just Adam, I'll go with you. Is that 15 years from now, I'm gonna estimate your daughter's age based on what you said. You know, she's 29. And she's moved away and she lives in a different town. You don't see her as much anymore. And it's her birthday, or if not her birthday, some sort of special occasion, you can't be with her. And you think back like, oh, this was something that she really loved or got her through a tough time, or specifically, not saying necessarily in your case, but bonded with your daughter over this experience of watching the show together. So it's me sending a message, but really it's not about me. It's really about the connection that someone is trying to make with another person because of that shared experience or that laugh over that show. Plus, I'm really, really amazing. That's a given. But in seriousness, I view it as a connection between the people, and because people seem to enjoy it, that's why I'm a part of it.
Well, do people request that you act like Kevin Malone?
Yes, but I say what I say is I will give flavor, and I actually don't really respond. But some people ask, and they adamantly ask, like Kevin. I think that's just weird. Plus, borderline illegal. Like, who owns the character and this or that?
You're making money on it.
But to me, it's like the character. For me, it was a creation. Like that feels like what I do is about building character. But it's wardrobe, it's like hair, it's body posture, it's all of that. It's like, so I'm supposed to like get in wardrobe and turn into another character so that I'm wearing a suit to send someone a message. It just seems complicated to me because, again, I ultimately think whether they know it or not, it's truly about that connection. It's not about me or the character specifically.
Well, I always think about when Dave Damashek was in here, and he does sports, and he's in a rotisserie or fantasy football league with a bunch of guys, and they always reveal how they're going to kick the person. Whoever
the
wins,
winner of the league is
winner gets to choose who gets kicked out of the league, but they always do it at the draft because they have to make it the most uncomfortable. And him getting a cameo for Freddie Lynn, Boston's legendary Boston, who is Bill Simmons, the sports guy's favorite Boston player, to kick Bill Simmons out of the league. It's inspiring. And it, makes you realize, cameo can be used for evil, but can also be used for great deeds.
Right.
Like Fred Lynn kicking out Bill Simmons.
I have not heard that story. That is unbelievable. I love it. I did do a bunch of drafts for friends, like not friends of mine, but like, the idiot, like with scraps of paper all over my office, like putting them in a hat and drawing them out for people and making fun of them.
You did drafts like for
so someone would say, here are the 10 teams in our league. You decide the draft.
The draft
cameo draft order.
I just love everyone's creativity. All right, let me hit X Chair, and then we'll do a little news as well. X Chair, from the first moment I've sat my X Chair. Well, I'm in mine right now, but I bought an X Chair and had it at my home office years ago. Not used to looking forward to sitting in your office, but you will with X Chair. Can your current chair give you a massage or heat up or cool down? X Chair can with Elemex massage and temperature regulation exclusively designed for X Chair. Plus, the customized support of X Chair's patented dynamic variable lumbar or DVL. I'm sitting on mine right now. Treat yourself. It's wonderful. I told you, get a good mattress, get a good car, and get a good TV set. I'm now going to add office chair, X Chair to that list. Try X Chair for yourself, risk-free, for 30 days. Once you realize how much better they are than the chair you currently have, you'll never go back. Right, Dawson?
Go to xchairadam.com now. That's the letter X, chair80am.com, or call 1-844-4XChair for $100 off your order. X Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase for as little as $30 a month. xchairadam.com.
Everyone's out plying out doing the Macarena.
Who
The songs
did let
make
the
a
dogs
difference.
out?
Yeah, someone let the dogs out. Now we got a bunch of dead dogs in China.
That's right.
So words mean something.
Maybe not to you,
Maybe not
Brian,
to you.
but to us.
There's no script for life, okay? We're not allowed to doodle on something that Mindy Kaling handed to us.
Call it our own.